everybody. I gather we've got a few people waiting already, and there might be a few people join us over the next couple of minutes, but we'll make a start because we haven't got lots of time and I don't want to waste any of this webinar. So good evening and welcome to everyone that's joined us. My name's Claire Powell. I'm Head of School for Animal Welfare and Veterinary Nursing. And in the screen, I think probably on your screen below me, we've got James Clark, who's the Programme Area Manager. And then we've got Catherine that's going to join us this evening to talk about veterinary nursing as well, and who works on the veterinary nursing level 3 diploma. Okay, so that just to explain who's going to be talking to you this evening and answering questions, and now we'll get started with the presentation.
Imagine a career where you get to work with animals every single day. If you love animals, there's really nothing more rewarding. Our 3-storey animal management centre and surrounding facilities are home to a variety of species, from meerkats to chameleons, donkeys to snakes. From level 1 to level 3, you'll get hands-on, learning the essential skills needed to work in the sector. Our knowledgeable tutors will be on hand to provide all the support you need along the way. And once you've completed your level 3, there's plenty of opportunities to progress here at the college, at university, or straight into the workplace. Discover your future with Solihull College and University Centre.
So I'm just going to start off this evening telling you a little bit about the school, and then I'm going to hand over to James and Rachel to tell you a little bit more specifically about the programmes. Okay, so just for you to understand the context of the Animal Welfare and Veterinary Nursing School, we've been around for a good number of years, sort of like 25 years or so, possibly a little bit longer. And over that time, we have gradually grown from literally starting with one course and a handful of animals. And we moved to a purpose-built centre, which we're in now, and that was in January 2011. Throughout that time, we've consistently maintained high levels of achievement across the range of programmes that we do, and we've moved from literally offering one programme to a whole host of different levels and programmes that we're going to talk to you about this evening. So the range of programmes, to give you a bit of an overview, we've got, we literally start from entry level and we go all the way up to degree level. So we've got entry level, level 1, 2, 3, and then it goes to HE doing levels 4, 5 and 6. Our Oxford Brookes foundation degrees in animal behaviour and welfare and veterinary nursing is our higher education programmes. When you come and study with us, you will definitely be involved in work placement. So that varies depending on which level programme you do about as regards to what placement opportunities there are. But they definitely all involve some level of working out in the industry as well. We know that working with animals, there is no point just doing our qualifications alone. It's all about the practical experience you'll gain with us in our centre, but also going out into industry and getting you industry ready by working with employers. We also offer work-based apprenticeship opportunities at level 2. So we've got the animal care and welfare assistant at level 2 that we work with, and then there's within the veterinary nursing, which Catherine will go on to talk about, that can be an apprenticeship or a non-apprenticeship route. So there's lots of different opportunities in terms of careers within the area, and the next slide is just going to talk about the main sort of areas that we look at as a school in terms of opportunities for students to progress into. So we've looked at our different pathways, and our main curriculum intent is for you to progress, if you come and join us, into what we have put into 6 different pathways. So we've got retail and commerce, so anything to do with looking at the pet care industry, and that might be literally retailers in pet stores. It might be the commercial opportunities with different companies and developing products and that side of things. Then we've got veterinary nursing in healthcare. So veterinary nursing itself obviously sits within that, but lots of sort of ancillary healthcare things, and there's a lot of sort of behavioural referral services and trainers and things that all sit within that area as well. And we've got wildlife and conservation, so more of the sort of natural side of things, looking at animals in their native environments. And we've got modules that cover that within our animal management programs. Animal welfare, so students that are looking to go and work maybe as things like RSPCA officers in welfare organisations such as Blue Cross, and lots of different sort of smaller animal rescues across the you know, locally to us and nationally. There's a lot of jobs within animal welfare. Animal husbandry, so real hands-on kind of aspects of roles, so maybe things like zookeepers, indeed our animal technicians here that work with the animals. So that's kind of real hands-on working with animals every single day. And then this science and research is our final pathway for students that are interested in looking at research and the science side of things. And that could be, again, developing products, or it could indeed be looking at sort of the wildlife and conservation side and the research that goes along there on understanding animals in their sort of natural environment. There's a lot of work going on there at the moment as well. So that gives you just a flavour of the different career pathways that you know, we're looking to prepare students to go into, and it just depends on your interest as to kind of which pathway along there that you may choose to go. Okay, so the next slide, just moving on towards James and Catherine telling you about our programmes. This is just to give you an overview. We've talked about the career opportunities and the different pathways that you may want to take within animal welfare and veterinary nursing. This gives you an idea of, as a school, the different opportunities that we've got. So I talked about us doing from entry level all the way up to the level 6 degree. And this infographic is just quite helpful to understand how they all fit together, how you can progress, you know, from one level to another, and how some of them cross over and you may change pathways along the way. But we've sort of basically got the foundation level of entry level 1, 2 and 3, and then level 1, and then we've got an animal management and care pathway, and then a veterinary nursing pathway. But you can see from the arrows that some of those interchange along the way, and then there's a separate branch off to the side to go into employment earlier and do an apprenticeship earlier on. Okay, so that's just to give you an idea of how the different programs fit together, and how, you know, if you wanted to, you could enter at any level and progress to any level going forward. Okay, so now I'm going to hand over to Catherine to just tell you a little bit more about the right hand side of that diagram, which is the sort of animal nursing and veterinary nursing side of it. Okay, thanks, Catherine.
Thanks, Claire. Hi everybody, pleased to see you all. My name is actually Catherine White, not James Clark as it's showing on your Zoom screen. We are socially distancing and sharing a screen, but I'd like to just talk to you about veterinary nursing, because I've been involved with veterinary nursing from day one at Solihull College. So I'd just like to give you a brief overview of what you need to come onto the veterinary nursing. The first thing I want to just say about veterinary nursing is it's a very fulfilling career. But it's ideally suited for people who are around the age of 17 or 18, because a lot of veterinary practices will take people on at 17 or 18. So we have other qualifications like the pre-vet nursing or ANA, which will benefit and help you, and I'll talk about that in a moment for you. So the first thing to tell you about is the entry requirements for veterinary nursing and what grade you need to get onto veterinary nursing. You need to have 5 GCSEs of grade 4 or above, what was the old-fashioned C grades or above, so a C, B or A. And from those 5, you must have maths, English language preferably, science, and that can be any science, so it can be biology, chemistry, physics, or the double sciences, it doesn't really matter, and 2 other subjects at grade C. So they could be drama, could be IT, could be health and welfare, could be anything other, as long as you've got those at grade C. The course itself lasts for around 2 years and 1 term. So you would start with us in September for the first year, running through to June. You'd then have the summer holidays. You would then come back in September, again go through till June. And then you would come back in September and do till Christmas, which is when you would take your practical exams. If you decide to join us at Solihull College, we will go into more detail with you when you have your interviews that will be set up online. Once you complete the course, you actually become a registered veterinary nurse, which means you have the ability to do quite a few things in the veterinary world now. You're able to do suturing, you're able to monitor and look after anaesthetics, bandaging, and the actual veterinary nurse qualification is just going through a revamp at the moment to see that veterinary nurses can do more within practice because they are an integral part of the veterinary practice. Just to sort of give you an overview of what you'll study in your first year, there's quite a lot of words on this slide for you, but I just want to make sure that you know what you're going to be studying when you come to us. In the first year, the first sort of thing that you'll be studying is looking at the basics of veterinary nursing, so the responsibilities of a veterinary nurse and how we work within practice. You're also going to be looking at x-rays, or what we call radiology, and laboratory work. How to care for the animals the same way as you can see Emily doing in this picture with a little whippet there. And pharmacology and how to dispense medication, so you'll be able to actually dispense medication to your clients. And practical nursing skills, so how to care for animals in a general day-to-day basis. To do this course, you will need to be in a veterinary practice, and you will have to be a veterinary approved training practice from the RCVS. Again, our interview will go through this with you in more detail. In the second year, we sort of make things a little bit more interesting by talking about anaesthesia and theatre practice, so theatre nursing skills. We look at life stage and how life stage is very important when dealing with animals in the veterinary practice, how to care for animals in the veterinary practice, and the surgical aspects that are involved within the veterinary practice, so what you'll do in the theatre. And we then take you on to what's called practical nursing skills, and we sort of take it to the next level of nursing skills, so being able to work independently and on your own within a practice in the hospital environment or in the theatre. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, if you decide to do veterinary nursing, most veterinary practices generally take people on at around 17 or 18 years of age, and that's due to the insurance factor. So what we've done at Solihull College is we've made sure, as Claire mentioned earlier on, we have something from level 1 right the way through to level 6. So we've got a course that covers you. If you are not able to do veterinary nursing in this September 21, we have a course that you can do, which is like a pre-vet nursing course called the Animal Nursing Assistance course. And this is sort of like a pre-vet nursing to get you into the veterinary nursing course a year later. The entry requirements for that are slightly less, so a grade D, GCSE or a 3. You also need your science and preferably your English and maths. The course itself lasts for 12 months and you're in college 3 days a week. And once you've got to the qualification, it's a complete qualification at as an ABC qualification at level 2, which means you can work within a veterinary practice solely with this qualification. It is a very, very good stepping stone, though, onto the veterinary nursing qualification. So for any of you out there that are aged between 16 and 17, I would highly recommend this course to you, or possibly the level 2 or level 3 animal management to do prior to doing the veterinary nursing, just because of the insurance factors with coming on to nursing from the age of 16. Some of the things that you'll study in the animal nursing course, very similar to that of the veterinary nursing course. So you'll give basic treatment, so you'll learn how to actually treat animals and give them medication, how to give them food and water, which is really important, especially in the hospital environment for animals. And you'll learn the basics of animal anatomy and physiology, which is a really good basis for you moving on to vet nursing. So it's sort of like putting the meat on the bones, really, of the veterinary nursing qualification for you. You'll learn a bit about parasites, so fleas and worms, and you'll learn about infection control, which at the moment is paramount, thinking about making sure we wash our hands and look after animals. You'll also learn the basic animal nursing principles, so how to actually look after animals when they're in the hospital environment. Within this course itself, you will need a placement, which will be 1 day a week. Again, when you come in for an interview or have your interview with the lecturers, they will go through the requirements that you need for that. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I'm now going to hand over to James Clark.
Good evening, everyone. I'm James Clark. Just before I start talking to you about level 2 and level 3 courses in animal management, what we offer, just a couple of things to discuss. As Catherine mentioned about work experience there, for the animal nursing assistants and our level 2 and level 3 programs, learners will require to have a placement 1 day a week. And again, we'll talk more about this on the interview, but it's something to start thinking about as work placement options around where you live or in an career that you want to go into. That's the first thing that we want to discuss, and that's a 1 day a week placement. Some colleges do block placements. We try and do it 1 day a week because we find it leads to part-time jobs and full-time jobs within the area. Also, if you come to us and you haven't got the equivalent of a 4 or a C in GCSE, maths or English, then you will study these alongside the course, because that's a government decision, but also it's going to make you employable and help you to progress onto other courses within the college. So the level 3 foundation diploma, there's quite a lot of jargon around this, and the first thing really is the level 3 and level 2. You're probably looking on our websites and seeing level 2, level 3. Level 2 is GCSE equivalent. Level 3 is A-level equivalent. So I'll start with our A-level equivalent course, and this is a 1-year course leading on to the second year of the programme, which is the extended diploma, which some of you may have heard of. Now, after the first year, you'll leave with 1.5 A-levels, and then you top it up another 1.5 A-levels in the second year. So you leave with 3 A-levels overall, and that can lead to university options of your choice. So as you can see on the screen, we've got the entry requirements for that. You do need your GCSEs, grade A to C, 9 to 4 in English language, science, that's physics, biology, and chemistry, and also maths. And then that will lead on to studying our programme of different units. There are exams on this unit. Animal biology and animal welfare and ethics are exam based. The rest of the course is assignment based, and the units that you can see in bold are the units that we have to teach you. They're mandatory, and then we get the choice of teaching you one other subject to make up the total points of the course. This year we've done exotic animal husbandry. Excuse me. Usually we do the zoo unit here, zoo management unit, but unfortunately due to COVID we can't go and visit zoos and work closely with zoos, so we're hopefully going to be putting that into the second year, and exotics has come in because we can do a lot of that in-house and work with the animals that we've got. So when I say assignment based, learners will be studying the units, and then they get 2 weeks to complete the assignment. Staff then mark the assignment, and then the learners get it back, and they get another week to upgrade that assignment and hand in for final submission, and then they get the final grade on that. With the exams, the animal biology exam is like GCSE exams. You learn it, you sit it, and then that's a January sitting, but there's also a summer sitting as well if required, or learners want to try and improve their grade. The animal welfare and ethics exam is slightly different, that there is a part A and a part B to this. Learners gain all the knowledge in the lessons, and then what happens is BTEC, the exam board, release some research material that learners get 3 hours to research, and then they take 2 sides of A4 notes into the exam with them for part B, and they sit it like a GCSE exam. So that's where it's slightly different, okay? But if learners don't get their 9 to 4 in their maths, English and science, then there is the level 2 option. Okay, now for the level 2, learners need 3s or a D in science, English or maths. And this is our GCSE equivalent. It will give you four GCSE equivalents of 9 to 4, a year-long course, and then that's a stepping stone onto our level 3 programme, as long as learners come out with a distinction or a merit grade. And again, we'll talk more about that on the interview. And again, like it's a stepping stone for it, that you'll learn similar subjects to what you'll learn on level 3, where you're learning about maintain animal accommodation, feeding aspects, so you're learning about the legislation, why do we feed animals certain foods, certain diets, contribute to the care of exotic animals, learning all about them and their needs. Biology, again, that's preparing them for level 3 when they go on to level 3. Business, some learners may own their own business, or again working in business in years to come, learning all the legislation behind that. Animal health and welfare, how do we know an animal's healthy, what vital signs do we look for, what conditions can we keep an animal in, and then learners will complete 150 hours out on work experience, and we'll be doing things back in the classroom to make them more employable for when they leave us, whether that's after the first year or whether that's after 5 years. So if learners don't get either of them grades, then we have the pre-GCSE level, which is level 1, or we have pre-level 1 as well, depending on entry requirements. But to get onto this course, this requires 2 GCSE passes at grade E or 2 above in English, science or maths. And this is a City and Guilds qualified. There are 2 exams on this. They are multiple choice exams, but the rest of the qualification is built up of learners doing practical elements and doing assessments in the classroom as well. So I've quickly just whistle-stop through the requirements of the course, but as you can see, the level 1 diploma, the 2 exam units are safe and effective working practices, so all around the health and safety aspects of working in the industry, and then there is another exam on preparing to work in the land-based industry. All of the other units, like I said, are practical and also theory-based assessments throughout the course. So I've quickly whistle-stopped through the courses that we do, as well as Catherine has. There is going to be an opportunity for questions at the end. There is, if people don't want to ask questions verbally, there is a chat option on the Zoom call. So if you want to put your questions in there, we will answer them as well. Just on your next steps. Okay, just on your next steps, if you are still interested in animal care, then you can apply online, and that will generate an interview for you to come to college. The hours that learners will be in college, at the minute, learners are doing 2 or 3 days in college on the courses. We've tried to restrict the days as much as we can because of COVID. The vet nurses for the level 3 are only in 1 day a week, and the rest of the week they are in the workplace. But obviously we'll answer any more questions you've got in a moment. However, I just want to show you a quick video of learners that have just been on the journey a little bit earlier than you, some of our success stories. And again, this can be you, or would be you hopefully in years to come, and we're showing future students this. After the video, then we'll break out for questions if you've got questions, and answer anybody that's put questions in the chat as well. All right, thank you.
I wanted to go into the animal care industry because I've always had a passion for animals. I've always owned animals when I was a child and that kind of thing. I've always liked sort of being out in the great outdoors and things as well, so it's something that I really wanted to do.
I grew up around animals constantly. Dogs, horses, sheep, and it just seemed natural to me.
I've always had a passion for assistance dogs. I do volunteer speaking for hearing dogs for deaf people, and when I had an opportunity to change my career, I decided that's what I wanted to do.
I wanted to get in the animal care industry because I was always interested in the welfare of animals, I was always interested in the enrichment of them and also the housing of them and also just the general caring of animals.
It is a lot more relaxed at college and more enjoyable. You could get on with your tutors a lot more.
I felt the college environment was quite different to school in the sense that a lot more sort of independence at college. You did have to organise your time a lot better. You get in buses and things like that rather than getting lifts to school and things. So I did feel it was quite a big step, but I enjoyed it.
Before joining the course, my aspirations really were to work hands-on with animals, to do training or to be involved in the kennel work with them.
Before joining the course in animal care, I actually wanted to go into teaching. I wasn't sure sort of initially whether that was primary school or secondary school, and then I just decided I wanted to work with animals and thought that if I combined the two together then it could work quite well.
Before joining the course, I wanted to be a vet, and all through the course I wanted to be a vet until we went on a trip to Jersey Zoo doing like observational studies, and it was just amazing being around animals all the time. And as soon as I left there, I knew that was exactly what I wanted to be, a zookeeper.
The units within the course that I did have helped in respect of they cover health and welfare of animals, they cover kennel and cattery management.
It taught me both practical side and theory side. With my job you need to know a lot of theory of animals to ensure that they're well kept, and obviously if they've got any ailments that you know that, but as well as the practical side of restraining them, handling them, showing students how to handle them.
It was mainly all the cleaning and the health checking and showing what to look for illnesses, and all about the diets, what animals need.
I got my current employment whilst, it was quite funny actually, whilst completing some assignments up in the computer room at the college. I was sat with one of my classmates and he showed me a website where jobs were advertised. This job popped up in front of me, so I think it was fate really. And the college course really helped in respect of the fact that semester we were actually looking at doing CVs and writing job applications. So I thought I'd give it a go and was lucky to be successful.
When I decided that I wanted to be a zookeeper and I finished the course, all I sent out was CVs to every zoo. Every zoo that was offering a job, every zoo that was close. And luckily I found Drayton Manor, which is just down the road from me.
I enjoy most about my job basically working with the students and actually feeling like I'm making a difference by helping people and actually providing them with an education.
I love the contact with the dogs. I love the fact that we make such a difference to people's lives, that there's 180,000 people out there that rarely leave home alone because of their visual impairments. And the dog just makes such a big difference.
Favourite aspect of the job is the variety. It's always different. Obviously you handle all different animals each day.
You get to see what they're like in all weathers, all the different behaviours.
The best thing about working with animals is that you're not sort of sat doing a 9 to 5 in an office. You do get to see all sorts of different situations. I mean, up in the staff room at the moment we've got some 17-day-old kittens that we're having to hand rear, and every day is just different. You never know what you're going to face on a day-to-day basis.
I don't know what it is, it's just I find them a lot more interesting than people. So that's why I had to work in an animal job instead of with humans.
They're fun to be around, and when you're having a stressful day there's nothing better than a cuddle with a dog to make you feel better.
Okay, thanks James for sharing that video at the end. Hopefully that gives you a real flavour from the information that James and Catherine have spoken to you about, to give you an idea of the content of the programmes. And then that video, we just think it's nice to show some success stories and what it is about the programmes and working with animals that has really shone for those individuals. There's lots more success stories that we'd love to speak to you about, and I'm sure can at some point if you come in for interview and study with us. And as the student said in those videos, there is never a dull moment in a career working with animals. You never quite know what you're going to come into, and it may be very different to what you expected when you arrived on a day, but I think that adds to the excitement and enjoyment of working with animals. So what I want to do is just spend some time. I can see we've got some questions that have come in on the chat in the Q&A section. So I'm just going to spend some time going through those so that we've kind of answered everyone's questions that's come and jumped on this webinar this evening. First of all, I've got a question here about applying for the level 3 veterinary nursing course. How do I apply, and when will I get a call for my interview? Well, for application for any of the programmes for next September are open already. We actually started interviewing last week. So if you are interested in any of the programmes, whether it be level 3 veterinary nursing, or whether it is any of the other programmes that we've talked about this evening, then you can apply literally from this moment on. You can do it online straight away, and that application submits to our admissions office, and then you'll be factored in for an interview, as James said. Now, we're doing the interviews a little bit differently this year with COVID. Just as we're doing this open evening very differently to how we would normally do. So you'll get a phone call for your interview initially, and we'll go through some questions with you and give you more information about the programme on the phone initially. Okay. So if you start, another question I've got here, if starting a foundation level 3, can you then go on to study veterinary nursing? Absolutely. Some students that, you know, maybe due to age restrictions initially, and they've got the grades to go straight on to level 3, may do the 1-year foundation diploma and then not maybe progress to the 2nd year and then jump onto the level 3 veterinary nursing. So absolutely, that is a route that you can take. When would be the latest you can apply? I mean, that does vary from programme to programme, and numbers of applications that we get, and some programmes are more popular than others. But we are normally sort of still certainly looking at applications into the summer next year. But the earlier you apply to secure your places, the better.
There's no harm in applying to more than one course or more than one area as well, if that's what you're worried about on that. Some students apply to public services and animal care and then make their mind up when their GCSE results come in, so that isn't a problem. No, absolutely. I've got a question here about what grades do we need. Now that depends on the programme, and I know this webinar and the presentation is going to be available afterwards, so you can go back if you've missed where it shows the grades for each of the programmes, but also on our website you'll see for each of the programmes there's different entry requirements. So in terms of what grade you need, it does depend on which programme you're applying for, but have a look on the website, or you know, give us a call and we can identify for the particular programme that you're interested in. How many places are there available on the Animal Assistance Level 2? Well, we normally run one group of those students per year, and we have around sort of 20 places on that programme. How many people will there be on the courses, and what will the class sizes be? And this does vary a little bit course to course, depending on how popular some of the courses are. But generally we have class sizes sort of between 20 and 30. So we do have like multiple groups of level 2 and 3. So it's not like just one group of up to 30 that's available for the foundation diploma or the level 2. We, you know, like this year, for example, we have 4 different groups of level 2s, and we actually have 4 different groups of level 3s as well. The numbers on veterinary nursing programmes, again, this does vary, but we can have sort of up to sort of 20-25 students generally on veterinary nursing each year. We do tend to break those students up into smaller groups because of the nature of some of the practical work that you may well be doing on that one day when you're in college. Do you need to find a work placement for all courses for 16? Certainly for level 2 and 3, it's an absolute requirement of, and it's actually part of the qualification. So one of the modules or units of study is a work experience unit, and you have to complete a set number of hours for that. And the entry level and level 1, we do try and go out on placement. Some of it's taken within the animal centre here. So separate to the practicals within the centre that you do for your qualification, we have some work experience opportunities to work alongside
alongside the technicians in the centre, but we also like to try and get students out in placement. Now, in terms of that, please don't worry and think, oh, I've approached places and I'm struggling to find one. We've got Laura Kitson and Sally Edwards, who are our work placement officers and are there to help support getting students into placements. They know all the different employers that we work with, and we literally have sort of nearing 200 overall kind of at one point or other on our book, so to speak, of different employers that we work with from a huge kind of radius around the college. So we can always jump on board and help you. How many places on level 3 foundation? So again, I've answered that one, I think, already in a previous one, that we've got more than one group running at a time. So, you know, we tend to have 2 groups of foundation, but actually this year we do have 3 groups of foundation diplomas. Which days for work experience, is it fixed? How do we know which day to arrange it for? Well, initially, if you approach an employer and see if they can take you on work experience, they often won't ask which particular day at this point, because you know, we're looking for a fair way into the future from September. But as we start to set timetables and we know which level it is for, generally we do know which levels have placements on which day. So once you've been for interview, we'll have talked about which particular day you can have placement for, and so we can help you then. Do we have any information on the LD animal care courses? Absolutely, there'll be information on our website, and if you want to email myself or James, I know James's email is on the bottom of the presentation that's still sharing on the screen. Mine is exactly the same, it's claire.powell and then @solihull.ac.uk. Then we can give you some more information about ALD courses specifically, and perhaps give you a call as well and go through it. How do the apprenticeships work, and what happens if you apply for them as well? Okay, the apprenticeship, you need to be in employment for the apprenticeship programme, so that one is slightly different. So that's about, and sometimes it happens through students being in work placement as part of their programme, and then a job opportunity arises or an apprenticeship opening, so they then finish the course they're doing with us, for example, if they were doing level 1, and they might go on to start the level 2 apprenticeship the following year. But it does involve having a job in the animal sector to be able to do that one. But you can apply for both, and if you don't be successful in getting an apprenticeship in terms of getting paid employment, then the animal management courses can be the backup for you. So absolutely, you can apply for both. The presentation will be available afterwards. I see someone's had a laptop freeze. That happens to all of us at some point. So absolutely, it's being recorded so you can play it back. We do provide send support. I've got a question here, and that as part of the interview process and on your application, if you make it clear to us, and there is a section on there to tick for additional needs, then we'll make sure our support tutors, and we have tutors that work with our area specifically, will also give you a call and go through your support requirements in terms of, you know, support maybe at school, and what support is available and might be helpful to you within college. But absolutely, we have class support, so we have learning support assistants in the classroom to support students, and we have additional needs tutors that meet with students outside of the classroom for support as well. The timings of the college day, we've got some staggered start times this year, just to try and stop everyone arriving at the same time and it being particularly busy, but generally 9 or 9:30 in the morning, and then lessons can go on till 4:45 is the latest in the evening, but sometimes a day might finish the lesson earlier and say finish at 3:15, 3:30, but a whole solid day would be no longer than 9 till 4:45. Gosh, I feel like I'm on question time here, trying to keep up with them bobbing on the screen. Will the interview be face-to-face or online? I think some of these were on there before I've answered. So yes, we're doing telephone interviews at the moment. Obviously that may change in the future and next year and become face-to-face, but at the moment we're doing telephone interviews. Do we help find work placement? So as I said, we've got our work placement officers, but what we do say is initially look for a placement yourself. And the reason we say that is in terms of, you know where you can get to in terms of your transport requirements, whether you need a public transport route, whether you've got somebody that can give you a lift or you've got your own transport. And also what you're interested in. So, are you interested in dogs and you want to look at some kind of like, a doggy daycare centre, a kennels, a cattery? Are you interested in retail? Are you interested in zoos, rescue centres? We want you to go somewhere where you're, potentially thinking your career may be, to get experience and get a feel for that industry. So you're better to try and look yourself to start with. But then absolutely, we've got Sally and Laura who can back up helping you find placements. The boiler suits that you can see the students wearing in the photographs on the presentation, if you have a place with us, then on joining instructions we send you the details of where to get that uniform. So you'll need a boiler suit and steel toe cap boots for doing all of your work within the centre with us. Where am I? Can you be a vet with level 3 or just a veterinary nurse? So the level 3 is a specific veterinary nursing programme. In terms of being a vet, that's a post level 3 programme, so it's a HE qualification, and so yeah, that is something completely different. If you've applied in October, I've got a question here about applying in October and not had any confirmation yet. I know we are literally booking in interviews every week and every day at the moment, so it may well be that your confirmation of your telephone interview is going to come. I would say if you don't hear anything by the end of the month, then please get in touch with us to just check that you haven't been missed.
They will let you know via email as well. That's how college are letting you know when your interview is. So please keep checking your emails, and that's and your junk email as well, just in case it's got in there. And
then I've got on here, if you apply for the level 1 but get grades for the level 3, can you move up and down? And this is something that's a really good question, because what we always say to people on open evenings when they're here is, don't worry about applying for the right or wrong course, because we do know this is predicted grades for the majority of people at the moment, and things will change. So absolutely, if you apply for a level 2 and you get the grades for a level 3, then we'll have a conversation with you. Likewise, if it's the other way, if you've applied for level 3, for example, and you don't get all the grades for that, we can have a conversation with you about options at level 2. So please don't worry that you've only got a place on that level. We will have conversations when results come in the summer, and look to move anywhere where they need to move to. There's a range. I mean, going back to one of the first slides that we talked about in terms of career options and what jobs you can go into with level 3, that really depends on what your interests are, whether it is welfare, whether it's retail, whether it's sort of husbandry and zookeeper type work, or wildlife and conservation. There's a whole range of career options at level 3. It just depends on what you're interested in, and maybe when you study with us, it will help you decide which of those pathways might be more suited to you and what you enjoy the most. When should you start looking for a placement? As soon as possible, I would say. People are already approaching work placement providers now for next year, so there's no need to delay. Employers are used to being contacted at this point, ready for next year. Okay, I'm just checking the chat that there's not any questions that I've missed in there. Some of them I may have answered. I'm 26 years old, what are my options? So that any of these options are open to anybody, so there's no course requirements in terms of ages. All ages are welcome on all programmes, I think, is the simplest answer to that. Apply for the level 1 but go. Okay, I think I've answered some of these. So any applications now for September are being taken. So for any of the courses, I've got a question there specifically about ALD, but for any of them, we're taking applications now. I've talked about additional timings and in terms of what the college day looks like. I think I've answered all of those. Are there any criteria for the work placement? No, it depends for what your interests are. So the criteria for the work placement will vary a little bit from employer to employer, but if you approach an employer, they'll tell you what their expectations are. In terms of our criteria for the programme, it's an animal related work placement. So, you know, that really leaves it open for any employer that works with animals, literally, like I say, from a rescue centre to a pet shop to a kennels and cattery to a zoo, a wildlife centre. As long as it involves animals, then it will be fine as far as we're concerned to be legitimate for the programme. If you've got any concerns about whether you think it is or not, then please just get in touch with us. I am conscious, I think that's the end of all the questions, and I am conscious that we are running out of time as well. I just want to say thank you all very much for attending this evening. It's very different to us doing a live session like this compared to doing a live, you know, everybody in the building and showing you around, and we really wish we were in a situation where we could show you our animal centre that we're really proud of, and hopefully the little video clips we've shown and on our website give you a flavour of our animal centre, and hopefully in the near future we can be at a point where we can invite you in to see that and get a better flavour for us. But for now, hopefully that's been really helpful this evening. So like I say, thank you all for your time. Thanks James and Catherine for your time as well this evening, and any other queries, please, we've got James's email there. Let's say mine's the same, just claire.powell. Please get in touch and we'll answer anything that we haven't done already. All right, bye bye.